Wait. Let's stop right there. You've gone from
Mhm.
customer service
Oh yeah.
to Amazon, right?
Yes.
And sorry, how long was that period of time?
From customer service to Amazon, that was about.
Hey everyone, it's Suleiman. In today's video, we've got another incredible story from one of my students, Mac, who recently got hired by AWS. Mac was working in customer service at Walmart, and now he's here working at AWS out in Seattle. Mac didn't just utilize the academy for one job, but he also used it for two different jobs. So he got incredible value from the academy and ultimately landed one of the biggest roles at AWS. So without further ado, go watch the video, get inspired, take some action, and start making things happen for yourself in 2025. Good luck. So Mac, tell me, how did it feel when you got the confirmation that you got your new role at Amazon?
Honestly, I didn't believe it. I won't lie to you. It felt like a dream. Like I remember I was in the living room. It was Christmas Eve, I believe. And I was, with the family and everything. And then I got a call from a name I recognized, but I didn't recognize at the same time. And when I answered, he said, "Hey, is this Mac?" I'm like, yeah. Congratulations, you got the role with Amazon. And honestly, I didn't really have words for him at the time. I was like frozen. I really didn't believe it. But honestly, I was really excited, ecstatic, because Amazon is one of those companies where is, I would say, it's not impossible to get into, but it's difficult because the interview process is really it really tests you, you
Hmm.
know. Um, but honestly, I was very excited, and I'm still am
Yeah.
because I get to learn from some of the smartest people in the world.
Mhm. Yes, it's completely life changing, right?
Oh,
Um,
I would definitely say that.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And then what was your reaction like, your family's reaction and stuff, because you was in the same room as them, right?
Oh yeah, my wife, I put the phone on speaker and she was frozen. She was like, "Oh my God, you got it." Yeah. And I
Uh,
was like, she was more excited more than me because I was in disbelief
yeah,
the whole time. Yeah.
can imagine. And what was your background then before you joined the academy, right? You said you was at FanDuel, right? What was you doing
Yeah.
there?
Okay, so at FanDuel, I started off in customer service.
Hmm.
Just
Whoa,
coming from.
wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Let's stop right there. You've gone from
Mhm.
customer service
Oh yeah.
to Amazon, right?
Yes.
And sorry, how long was that period of time?
From customer service to Amazon, that was about 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
amazing.
crazy. That is so
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
Well, I did not know that. So yeah, just talk through it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I was first I started off at Walmart, even before I even got to FanDuel customer service. I did that for some time and I had a mentor who introduced me to AWS. And it was actually my first time hearing about AWS and the cloud and how, businesses are transitioning to the cloud more. So I thought it would be something I should take a look into because I always wanted to get into tech, but tech is so broad. It's not just like, okay, here I am, I'm in the tech. No, you have to pick a niche. You have to pick things you want to learn. You have to pick things you want to specialize in. So when he told me about the cloud and the potential of how cloud is growing in a couple of years, that it will be even bigger than what it is right now, I was
Mhm.
like, okay, this is something I need to learn. So my journey at working in customer service from FanDuel, it was just kind of like getting my foot into the door. It was my first time at I would say, because FanDuel is a fintech company, so it was like my first time working with a primarily tech company, quote
Yeah.
unquote. So I worked my way up into service desk.
Hmm.
So I did service desk for about another year. That was I really hated it. I'm not gonna lie
Yeah.
because it was tech, but I didn't really consider it to be tech. It was still customer service.
Yeah.
Um
It's like in between of tech and customer service, right? It's like the same.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, like you're very like you're just like at the door, but you're not really in it.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. So I recently when I there was a role that opened up in the company for a systems engineer. So I'm like, wow. I didn't really think I was ready. Only because I didn't have much experience, and even in service desk, only had about a year. And usually people go from service desk to desktop support.
Mhm.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take the chance. So I did the interview, which was insane, and I got the call like, hey, you got the job. And I was like, man, I got the job. So while working as a systems engineer, um, there was a lot of gaps in my knowledge because I came from, the type of background I came from wasn't in that field already. So there was so many gaps. So I got into a role, but I didn't really have the knowledge. And that's when I stumbled on your YouTube channel, just browsing about,
But so
things.
you
Mhm.
you came across the YouTube channel when you were trying to pivot to systems engineer from help desk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I came across a YouTube channel and I was intrigued with some of the knowledge you were sharing about the growth of cloud engineers, and how you have your academy, and so I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me try it. What's the worst that can happen? So I decided to I think I talked with one of your students, and he were, sharing some knowledge, and how the academy was going for him. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just take the chance.
Hmm.
So I took the academy, and there were a lot of subjects there that I had no idea on, which was things like, for example, Terraform. I didn't have any Terraform experience. I didn't have any cloud formation experience. I didn't have any coding experience. I didn't have any CDK experience, and these were things that I needed in my role.
Hmm.
So the academy opened me up to a whole different spectrum, and knowledge that I did not have. So as I was taking it, I noticed that I started getting a lot better at my job. I was contributing more. I was even able to contribute different ideas like, hey, why don't we just use infrastructure as code to deploy these
Yeah,
resources?
yeah.
So I started getting a lot better. It even helped me like mentally prepare to get ready for my first certification, which was the cloud practitioner. I took it, and yeah, that's how I really got into the academy, and I
Okay, yeah.
passed, and yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of joined in transition from help desk to systems engineer. And how did that
Yeah.
happen? And you applied for systems engineer, and what was that process like? Did the academy, because presumably you joined the academy, then you got into systems engineering.
Well, I when I joined the academy, I was at like the beginning stages, like probably like a month or two in the systems engineer role.
Mhm.
So but while I was in the role, I was struggling a lot because of the knowledge gap. So the academy really helped me fill in some of those gaps that I needed to succeed in my role. Um, Especially when it came to things like automation and the infrastructure as code part. I didn't have no experience into it. I was manually deploying resources in a
Yeah.
console, but it wasn't efficient.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anyone in that team already doing infrastructure as code. So there's all just deploying stuff manually, or you brought to the table, hey guys, let's deploy things using code.
Well, there was one guy on the team. But he was very good at what he was doing. So he was more playing more of like the management role. But he did have this knowledge, but he, like I said, he was so good at what he was doing. He was like pulled in so many different directions. He couldn't really focus on, managing resources, and that was work that me and another team member had um doing on the team, what we were doing on the team. But he also didn't have that type of knowledge. So that kind of gave me like a competitive edge because I was only one on the team who had it and who were actually doing it.
Yeah. Okay, got
Mhm.
it. So then how did it go from systems engineer to AWS, like what did you have to learn in between those roles? Like how did you go from there? Because you've gone from customer service to
hmm
help desk to systems
hmm
engineer in the same company. But then the
hmm
leap from that to Amazon is completely different. So like what
Oh
did you
yeah.
do in between that period?
Okay, so within that period, I never stopped learning. That's one thing you really have to know in this field, that no matter how much you know, you really don't know that much, because tech is always changing. Like there's always some new thing. Like recently, like GitHub Actions wasn't a thing a few years ago,
Yeah.
and now it's a thing. So I had to just constantly keep moving and keep learning and keep learning and keep researching new things and new tools and new technology just to keep up. Um, so for to transition into Amazon at the time, I was, even though I had my systems engineer role, the academy played a major role, because even when I did the interview for Amazon, they asked me things that if I didn't take the academy, I wouldn't have known.
Mm.
You know, like I was stating before, like the automation, they're really big on automating things. Um, and they're really big on like pipelines and GitHub Actions and stuff like that. And these are words that even I heard automation before, but I wasn't familiar. But I wasn't familiar with things like GitHub Actions. I've never heard that before until I took the academy. So
Yeah.
that opened me up to some things that if I feel like if I didn't have to take this academy, I may have not passed the interview at Amazon.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's incredible. Right. So just to recap that, you joined the academy, which helped you in your systems engineer role.
Yeah.
But then further down the line, that same academy experience helped you get into Amazon, right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I should be
hmm
charging you a little bit more. You know what I mean? That's crazy. But no, that's so cool, right? Because at the end of
Oh
the day,
yeah.
you might have learned things with us, but the fact that you stuck with it and
hmm
committed yourself, kept learning, kept going, that's what actually got you into Amazon. Like what I did is
That's the key.
nothing, right? The key is
hmm
I can give you the resources, but you have to actually go in and learn it and apply it and understand
hmm
it and revise it. Right. That's still all from yourself. So what you've
hmm
done is really, really incredible. And what was like your overall experience of the academy? Like you still have access to all the lessons, like we're bringing in new AI modules, like all that kind of stuff is something that we're going to keep adding to the academy. So like when I say over experience, if it sounds like you're done with the academy, but you're not, because there's new modules being added. So what was it like then
hmm
from when you joined, and what's it like now for you?
I mean, when I first joined, it was challenging,
Mm,
only because of all the new tools and technologies I've never dealt with before. But my overall experience has been really helpful in my career growth. The lessons are really helpful. It just created a roadmap for me to stay on and to like focus on, okay, what I need to know at a time.
mm,
Because a lot of times when you start off in a field like this, you may not know what to do, what to start with. For example, total off subject, you might want to learn containerization, but you can't learn Kubernetes before you learn Docker. You have
mhm.
to learn Docker before you learn Kubernetes. So
Yeah,
that's what I was really struggling with, what to learn, what's the next step, how to put all the pieces together, because it's a big puzzle.
yeah,
Everything fits within each other. And that's what that's one of the things the Academy really helped me with. The community was very helpful. Sometimes I'll get stuck and ask questions. People jump right on it. I mean, it was just such a positive experience altogether.
yeah. That's amazing. And I think it's a common feeling among people that are starting something for the very first time that they don't know how to piece together all the puzzles, right? And the
hmm
puzzles being AWS, DevOps, pipelines, infrastructure as code. Like, when do you learn what? And a lot of beginners
hmm
make this mistake of jumping into Kubernetes. Like, I get messages all the time, like, "Hey, I've just started. Shall I learn Kubernetes?" And I'm thinking, bro, no.
That's another beast
Yeah, yeah.
altogether.
And there's a reason that we don't actually cover that in the academy because it's so
hmm
advanced that there's no point you learning that at this stage when you're
hmm
starting. You should build the
Mhm.
foundations and then only learn Kubernetes if the company you're working for is using Kubernetes, right? Why would you learn
Exactly.
something that you're not going to use? And that's
Exactly. A lot of
fundamental.
companies don't use it.
Mm.
Well, that's what people don't know. A lot of companies don't use Kubernetes, or if they do use it, like you said, it's such advanced that only certain people within a company use it. But Docker, if you learn stuff like Docker, for example, that can take you far, farther
Yeah,
than you think.
fundamentals, right?
ECS, yeah, definitely.
Cool. So what was the interview process like at Amazon? Tell us about that and how did you navigate that? Because I know it's a very difficult process. Um, so yeah, talk us through that.
Okay, so of course, with every company, the first process is to impress the recruiter.
Mhm.
So it was a 30-minute phone call. The first interview was a 30-minute phone call. They just asked me about my background experience, asked about some of the projects that I put on my resume, which if it wasn't for the academy, I wouldn't have a lot of projects because I only stayed with FanDuel for about a year before I
Mm.
transitioned to Amazon. So I didn't have a lot of work experience and a lot of projects. But because of the academy, I was able to put so many different types of projects on my resume. And
Yeah.
I really believe that also kind of carried me through because when she looked at my resume, she said, "Oh, okay, so you did some Terraform. Okay, I see you did some automation and some GitHub actions and stuff
Yeah.
like that." So I was able to, like kind of impress her to move me to the next round just by what she saw on my resume.
Mm.
So after I did the 30-minute phone call, then there was a 1 hour phone interview with a senior engineer who I currently work with right now. So that interview is more like it's like mixed. It's a mixed interview. It consists of like behavior questions, Amazon leadership principles, and a technical interview, which was consist of they will kind of like meet you halfway. Like, all right, you put JS on your resume. Okay, we're going to test you in JS. You put SQL or Python or whatever you put on your resume, they're going to test you on that.
Mm.
So that was about 30 minutes each for the technical part and the behavior part and the leadership part. And one thing I want to advise anybody who wants to get into Amazon, focus on their leadership principles. Um, Amazon is a company that they believe that they can teach you the technical stuff, but they can't teach you how to be a leader.
Mm.
So they put a lot of emphasis on how you answer their questions. Um, so when I got through that part, the funny thing about the interview, when I got through that part, my recruiter reached out to me and said, "Hey, they want to schedule the on-site interview, which was about 7 hours." It was a long interview.
Right.
Um, so you really need to study hard. You really need to understand these leadership principles because you're up against somebody from Meta.
Mm.
So when she said I was up against somebody from Meta, I'm like, oh man, I already defeated myself. I'm like, how am I gonna get this over somebody from Meta? So
Yeah.
that kind of worried me a lot. So what I end up doing is, and one thing I will advise anybody, always build your network, always make connections. So I went on LinkedIn and I reached out to two people from Amazon and told them, hey, look, I'm in the final stage of my interview. Can you help me? Can you help me understand the process? Can we schedule a mock interview? And
Mm.
both of them were so gracious enough to take time out of the day to schedule mock interviews with me, gave me, some tips on the questions, how to answer the questions. I believe that if I haven't have done that, because I didn't do well in the mock interview, but
Yeah.
because I didn't do well in the mock interview, I over prepare myself to get ready for the real interview, and that's why I shine. I made sure that all my answers was intact. All my answers was straight, was clear, was concise. I was able to articulate them very well. So always over prepared. That's one thing I want to advise anybody for any interview. Over prepared. Don't go there and just wing it because the recruiter told me that sometimes people just go there and just wing it and then
Mm.
they don't know what they're saying. They just stumbling over words. They don't have an answer. Um, so make sure you prepare for your interviews really, really well. Do mock interviews, research interview questions. I was on Glassdoor. I copied as much interview questions as people
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
post, and I just had an answer for everything. When I went for the on-site interview, because of the distance, the role was in Seattle, but I was based in New Jersey. I did it virtually. The first 3 hours was a technical assessment, which was really, really long. Then the last 4 hours, I met four different interviewers. Um, so 1 hour for each interviewer, and the last interviewer was mixed with like behavioral questions, leadership principles, and another technical interview. So it was pretty long. It was pretty. I was pretty tired by the end of the day, but because I prepared myself so well, I was able to get the job over somebody from Meta. So
Yeah, that's incredible, right? You're up against someone that's already in a big tech company who's
mhm,
probably gone through a similar interview process already when he got into Meta or she. So,
mhm,
what did you do? You fought on your feet. You took the initiative to reach out to someone in the company to ask for help,
mhm,
right? And I think a lot of people are just scared to do that. They're scared to ask for help. Like
mhm,
those people that you reached out to, they might have done the same thing when they joined Amazon, right?
mhm.
When they were going through the process. And it's good because it's relatable to them because they know exactly how you feel when you're in the
Mhm.
final stage and you don't know what to do. So they definitely helped you out, which is incredible. But again, it comes from your own doing, right? You thought,
Yeah,
how can I prepare the best way possible? Okay, let me do something differently. Let me go and ask for help internally at Amazon. And
mhm.
I'm guessing that you would say that's probably the biggest thing that helped you pass and succeed,
Definitely,
right? Getting that support.
definitely. If I didn't see my own flaws in the mock interview, I was going to take those flaws in the real interview, and it probably would have been a different turnout. But
Mm.
because I saw it from the beginning, I was able to prepare and over prepare for it.
Yeah, exactly. And you can never over prepare for interviews, right?
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely.
so
Especially a long interview like that where they ask you so many questions and sometimes they ask you the same question 2 or 3 times and you have to have a different answer for each time they ask you the question. So they might ask you a question like, tell me a time you had disagreement with your manager. And they like to ask follow-up questions like, how did you handle it? What did you do? What would you have done differently? And then you might have like another interviewer might come to you again and say, tell me a time that you and your manager didn't agree on something.
yeah,
So it's really weird. And you have to always make sure that you have different answers prepared for each
Mhm.
question because at the end of the day, after the interview, they all meet up and they all discuss your answers with each other. And when they see like discrepancies or like repetitiveness, it like they kind of count it against you because it makes it look like you don't have enough experience.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. That's a
Hmm.
really interesting way of doing it. And the fact that you did the mock interviews set you up for success, right?
Oh, definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
so what was it like then, um, starting? Like, what was your first week like? And how did you feel given how tough it was from the interview process? But also, I'm guessing you felt a little bit of relief as well, right? Because now I'm
Oh,
here,
yeah.
now it's a different challenge, right? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
how do I, impress, double down, and really
Hmm.
win in my role?
Hmm. So how my first week was more is and I'm still learning. It's more like they focus on onboarding. So they have like a plan for you, scheduled what things you need to know within like your first week, your second week, your third week, your first month, your second month. So like onboarding is like 3 months. Um, so within that time, you're expected to reach out to colleagues and different people in the organization, set up meetings with them, getting to know everybody, and understand like how everything works because it's so big and so vast and everyone has different roles and they do so many different things. At the end of the day, we're all connected because the work I do, um, I may not see the value of it, but it also impacts the next man's
Yeah,
job, and he needs the information for what I do to do his job, and it got to go up to his boss, and so it's a big ecosystem. So that's why you need to set up those meetings to understand what everybody else do around you, so you can know how you can do your job. So it's a lot of training, it's a lot of information, it's a lot of documentation. I would say that compared to FanDuel, I don't know, I should be saying my old company, but compared to my last company,
Yeah.
it's a lot of learning. Amazon is because it's so big, it's so massive. They do so many things, and you have to get ready for the learning experience. You have to be ready to do a lot of research. There's not a lot of hand holding. Even though I came in at a quote unquote entry level, which is like a L4 engineer, that's considered an entry level for Amazon. It doesn't feel like an entry level role. It
Mm.
feels like because you have to set meetings, you have to make sure documentation is right. You have to make sure that you're working as a team. So it's a lot of learning. It's a lot different from what I came from, the environment that I came from. But I would say if you're willing to just dive deep, if you're willing to ask for help when you need it, if you're willing to learn, if you're willing to do the research, anyone can succeed. You can
Yeah.
definitely succeed.
These are all
Hmm.
positives. These are all
Hmm.
very positive things that you're going through because if you have to learn a lot of new things, you feel overwhelmed, you gotta reach out to people, you feel uncomfortable. This is all part of your next phase of growth, right?
Exactly.
So this is perfect for you. And I know in the moment, because I've been there, I've joined a new company, there's a lot going on, you don't know if you don't know what really to do. But the best thing to do is just build those relationships. And that's why I always say to everyone is like, look around who you work with, which clearly at Amazon, it's something that they instill with you anyway, right? Look around
Hmm.
who you do work with day to day, who's the other people that you could work with, and then build those connections, set up the meetings and just introduce yourself. And I think you've done that exceptionally well, right? And yeah, it's part of the process. You're going to feel overwhelmed. It's going to be difficult the first few months, right?
Oh
But
yeah.
the fact that you know what you need to do, it's a really positive sign.
Mhm.
And what advice do you give someone that wants to either get into cloud or get into AWS and they want to join the academy maybe to help them? Like what would you say to them?
Oh man, I would say go for it. I would say now, right now at this moment is the time. I see a lot of people they're talking about, oh, what's the point? AI, AI, AI. Well, second, AI can replace everybody. It's not possible. There's so many opportunities that AI will also create that what people don't see. Um, so maybe you won't be coding as much, but you still need AI on the job. For
Mm,
example, Amazon have their own internal tooling, um, their own internal AI tool that their engineers use alongside their own work.
mm,
So it's now is the best time. Don't wait and don't be scared. Don't be afraid to fail the first time if you don't understand it. There's so many resources out there. There's so many people who's willing. Like if you go on Stack Overflow, if you post a problem, there's so many people who will give you answers,
mm.
to help you understand. So definitely just go for it. This industry is still growing a lot.
Yeah,
um the team I work with, we still building data centers. So this just to show you that it's still expanding, it's not stopping, and
bro.
it's not going anywhere.
Cloud computing, we're still early. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
Mhm.
still early in this cloud phase. And all these new data centers are obviously powering AI workloads and all this kind of stuff. So I think we're very early still, and most people haven't caught on to cloud yet. Like people
Mhm.
still don't really understand it, but once they actually do some research, like you did when you started, okay, your mentor told you about the cloud. Okay, you started looking into it. Okay, this looks interesting. But what happened was is that you saw the opportunity, right? You saw
Exactly.
that opportunity 3 years ago, and now you're at
Mhm.
Amazon, right? Most people, they get presented with an opportunity, but they can't see it that it's an opportunity that they should, take action on, right? And that's the
Exactly.
big problem. Now, what we're seeing is AI, right? Everyone's talking about AI. AI is going to replace me. Well, people are scared of things they don't understand. Well, why don't you go and spend some time understanding what AI even is? How does it
Mhm.
work? Can you use it? I've been using AI for a long, long time, like for the past 2 years, and I still don't think it's anywhere near replacing you, right?
Oh,
It,
it's
it's,
not.
it's simply not. So So yeah, people are just scared of things they don't understand, right? And
Mhm.
that's just the reality of it.
I totally
Okay,
agree.
go on. Sorry.
Oh no, I totally agree
Mm,
with what you said. That people are definitely scared of things they don't understand, and I feel like people are causing a panic and and there's so much opportunity that
yeah,
people are going to miss out if they're worried, if they're no,
yeah.
just get into it.
It's exciting, right? It's so
Yeah,
exciting because
definitely.
this whole AI stuff, like you said, firstly, you saw the cloud opportunity. Cloud is powering AI, right? So it's making it
Hmm.
accessible for everyone. Now there's a whole new wave of AI applications. We've got AI agents, we've got AI ops, like AI security, like this whole new wave of opportunity has come and presented to you again, right? So like what are you going to do? Are you going to
Exactly.
miss out this wave again? Because if you miss out the AI wave, then you might as well just forget about the next 10, 15, 20 decades, right? And people are
It's always
scared.
going to be something new.
Bro, technology runs the world, right? Anyone that
Exactly.
said, "Oh, like, is it smart to still get into tech?" Well, look around you. Like, I've got an iPad, I've got a phone, I've got a Mac. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
technology powers it all, right? We're speaking because of technology. You're
And
in Seattle. I'm in the UK.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean?
and the people who are taking advantage of it, they are making a lucrative lifestyle because of
Mm.
it. I mean, I
Yeah.
work with people. I'm not gonna put nobody's salaries out there, but I work with people who are way younger than me who make twice, three times as much as I make. I'm telling
Yeah.
you,
And
300,000 is not a strange salary
no,
for people.
you got to remember anything is possible, right? You can literally
Exactly.
achieve anything you want. And again, this video is going to inspire so many people that you've gone from customer service to Amazon in 3 years. That's that's the most incredible story, right? It is because it's going to inspire anyone, right? People that working
Mhm.
in Walmart, Target, like all these people can get inspired to break into tech. Most people think they can't break into tech, right? It's not possible, but you've
It's
shown that it's
possible.
possible.
LinkedIn will tell you it's possible.
Yeah, for sure. And how do you see yourself now? Now that you've locked in, you're in Amazon. How do you see yourself progressing in the next few years? Like, what's new skills are you going to double down on? Like, give people some game, right? What's your game plan over the next couple of years?
Okay, well, I mean, right now I'm drinking straight from the fire hose.
Yeah.
So I'm I'm right at the source of something that I didn't had no idea about just a few years ago to now being with the people who create these courses, like these skill builder courses, and people who just know so much about this stuff. So my next few years, I just plan to be a student. Like I'm going to continue being a student. I'm not going to feel like, oh, I'm at Amazon, so now I can relax. No, I'm not taking my foot off the gas.
Mm,
I'm just going to learn from as many people as I can within this company. I'm going to build my network that even if I'm not here today or tomorrow, if I'm find myself somewhere else, the knowledge that I will have gained from these people and from this company, I can take it anywhere you know
yeah.
so that's my plan. Just continue being a student, continue growing, continue putting into practice, and just continue building my network, because that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
That's definitely the
that's
most
the
important
best
thing.
answer. Like to continue being a student of life, right? Because you just said
Mhm.
you're gonna, even if you were to go away, you're still going to have this knowledge, and that knowledge no one can take away from you, right? They can
Exactly.
take away your job, they can take away your income, they can take away your house, but nothing can be taken away from what you've learned, your experience, the knowledge that you've gained, because that you can apply in anything that you do in the future, right? Now
Exactly.
you already know if you were ever to start a company in the future, right? You know what's an onboarding process like at the biggest tech companies in the world, right? That's new knowledge that you had no idea prior, right? And
Hmm.
you're learning so much day to day. And one thing I do recommend is to find a mentor in the company, someone that's like 2, 3 years ahead of you, and ask
Hmm.
them to like mentor you. Maybe set up a monthly session with them. Like, hey, like let's catch up monthly. Maybe if it's in person, grab a coffee or something like that. I think that's like the biggest hidden gem that most people don't think about. Like throughout my career, I always had mentors that were like
Hmm.
layers above, right? Um, like when I joined a tech company when I was 19, I emailed the CTO of the company, like
Oh, that's a
direct
move.
the CTO, right? I was just in the company and I was like, okay, let me email this guy and say, hey, like, can I have a coffee with you or, just learn a little bit from you? Then he ended up becoming my mentor. So like I would be
Wow, that's big.
speaking. So there was like for me, I had one manager in front of me, then I had another one, then I had another one. But this guy was a top guy, right? So like they would be like, "Oh, this guy knows the top guy in the company." Like I got to kind of treat him up. That kind of like propelled me. But yeah, like definitely, and I always did that throughout my career, like finding mentors around the company because they're kind of going to be your support system, but also they will look out for you indirectly if you come up in conversations. So definitely
That's true.
build that.
No, I 100% agree with you on that. Um, that's a strategy where I'm definitely going to implement.
Yeah, you got this. And before we wrap up, what's like the biggest thing that you've learnt about yourself in this process?
Um, the biggest thing I learned about myself is I can do it.
Mm.
Honestly, a few years ago, I wouldn't think I and it's funny that you asked that question. When I first got into cloud, I was telling my wife, I said she didn't understand what I was doing, or because I used to study late nights, and sometimes she wanted me to come to bed, and I'm like, no, babe,
Yeah,
I got to study. She
yeah,
didn't
I know
really
how that feels.
understand.
Yeah,
So I was telling her like, oh, she always hear this AWS, and I tell her, oh, it's Amazon. Amazon owns AWS, which is their cloud company. And I always told her, I'm like, I don't think I can even get into AWS. Like, you can't even land an interview with Amazon. Like I spoke so many negative things that I didn't know that I will see myself working for Amazon in just a few years. So I've like what I learned is nothing is impossible.
Mm,
Nothing is impossible. No door cannot be open to you if you knock hard enough.
mm,
That's the main thing. Just you have to really be focused. You have to know what you want, and you have to have that desire and that passion. And you just have to believe in your own self and in your own abilities
yeah,
to achieve your dreams. I'm telling you. Yeah.
yeah. Because the first thing is like having that belief that if you have the belief that you can do it, you're actually halfway there. Maybe you're 80% there. Because the
Yeah.
biggest challenge you always have is that mental challenge of can I do
Mm-hmm.
this or not? And it's the same for me. Like I'm coming up to new problems I've not faced before, but it's like, I can do this, right? It's just that mental barrier that you need to break through. And now you've done that, right? You've got into one of the biggest companies in the world. Like now you're thinking, you know what, I can do way more than I thought I could have done a few months ago. So it puts you
Mm-hmm.
like on a new wavelength, right? A new way of thinking, a new way of operating. Like you're gonna just propel now, right? And double down.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cool, bro. So is there anything else that you want to share before we wrap up? Anything you want to, any last gems you want to share with the world?
Just like you just said, you can't defeat yourself mentally in
Mm,
this thing. At times it do get frustrating. At times it's like, why isn't this thing working? You know, just leave your computer, take a little break, walk your dog if you have one, and just come back to it. Sometimes things click a little bit later. The human mind is so amazing that and you always know more than you think you know. Like, you may not understand it now, but when you take a little break and you give your mind time to relax and to recoup, and you come back, you be like, oh, I understand it now. you know so I just want to share, like we said earlier, just if you're thinking about it, if you're thinking about getting into this space, I would definitely encourage anyone. There's so much room for growth. There's so much room for everybody. Companies are always growing. Companies are always moving to the cloud. There's so many opportunities for everyone. You just have to make up your mind and just to actually do it.
mm.
That's it. Just keep pushing. Just don't give up. If I
Yeah.
can do it, I can tell anybody. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, I love that. It's all about just making that decision and then just going all in, right? And not looking back. And you did that,
Yes.
bro. Like the fact that you had someone tell you about cloud, he had no idea what it was, and then you goes, you know what? I'm gonna follow through. with this and you applied yourself, you got into the academy, you came up with new ideas at FanDuel, then he's like, okay, what's next, right? You didn't stay there and get comfortable. You kept learning at FanDuel, kept going through the modules, learn about DevOps, automation, and then you got
Mhm.
presented with a new opportunity, right? And it's not luck. And what they say is
Mhm.
luck is like when opportunity meets preparation or something like that, right? That's how it
Mhm.
is. Like you've been preparing yourself, and then the opportunity came, and then you got into Amazon, right? So it's all
Exactly.
about being ready, so you don't have to get ready, right?
Exactly. That's true.
All right, man. Listen, we need to get you on to do a talk for the whole academy as well, so they can, ask you some questions directly, because this is going
Okay.
to help them a lot. So I'll message you about that. But yeah, listen, this was amazing. It's going to inspire so many people,
I
and
hope so.
uh, and yeah, like I'm sure people are going to reach out to you as well on like LinkedIn and stuff. So just
Mhm.
uh, just let me know. Just say like, what's your LinkedIn stuff or your Instagram or whatever. Like people can like reach out to you. Where can they find you? I will put your LinkedIn link in the video description.
Okay. Okay, cool. Man, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No worries, bro. Like, I did nothing here. It's all you. Yeah.
Hey, you prepared it. You had the academy. So thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome, man. And yeah, I'll catch you very soon. And thanks for sharing your story.
Okay. Oh, please don't forget to send the app so I can download on my phone.
Yeah. We get you on that circle so you can get the community messages and stuff.
Nice. Nice.
Cool. All right, man. Catch you soon and have a great weekend.
You too, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.